Hey everyone, today I'm in Daisy, Oklahoma at the Isaac Billy Cemetery, or it's also known as just the Billy Cemetery. But there's someone in here that I want to tell a story about, and it's quite fascinating and different. So this cemetery is just down this rocky road, and there's no data coverage whatsoever. So if you come out here, you better make sure you have all your facts straight to find the person that you're looking for. There is a main highway right up here and not that far, but like I said, there is no data coverage. So I can tell that this cemetery was recently mowed. You can see where the grass has lines in it and there's loose grass on it. Someone is definitely taking care of this all the way out here. I would imagine that it's family. They've got this gravel here, like they're going to prepare like a gravel driveway or something. And there are newer burials in here, not many. Like I said, this is a small cemetery, just to give you a panoramic view of what's around. It's not much. You may be able to hear the cars on that highway right over there. But it is pretty out here. And other than occasional cars on the highway, it is very quiet. But you can clearly see right up front the Billy family. And quite a few of them for the size of the cemetery. William L. Billy, 1891 to 1918. James Francis Billy, 1905 to 1964. Willis Lee Billy, 1918 to 1968. And there are other people in here as well. We have J.A. Norris, 1878 to 1968, right up front here. And then also there is, this says Mother Emily M. Norris, October 27th, 1865 to January 9th, 1945. But next to it you can see Isaac A. Billy, father. This is where the cemetery gets its namesake, the Isaac Billy Cemetery. But he was born June 4th, 1859 and died August 10th, 1910. And then you can see Isaac A., husband of Emily Billy, born June 4th, 1859 and died August 11th, 1910. So you can kind of see this little family connection right here. And there are some veterans in here, quite a bit for the size cemetery that is in here. This is a Billy right here, William M. Billy, that is on the other side, and he was a private. I can't exactly see what battalion or anything, but it is pretty interesting. It's a neat little cemetery. Some of the markers have some growth on it, which I love, even though it makes it kind of hard to see. That kind of growth is a little bit easier to remove and not so abrasive, like if you see the black stuff where people are trying to restore the white markers to white and they're black or something. It's just kind of better to shine a flashlight on it or something. But here's an infant, March 18th to March 19th of 1919. And we have some Bond family members in here. This is David Bond and Isaac Billy Bond. So pretty well taken care of cemetery. You can see where they're edging around the markers. This one is pretty neat. It's on the back side of this tree and starting to be engulfed by this tree. But this is a Floyd H Bond, and it's January 9th, 1927 to August 19th, 1973, I think is what it says. And this is David Lee Page. Actually says Oklahoma Society of Land Surveyors, 1969. This is a Stephen Frank Page. U.S. Air Force, Vietnam, April 10th, 1957 to January 25th, 1987. Quite a few Page family members in here. And neat little cemetery. Like I said, I've seen some bluebirds in here. And Really just a peaceful cemetery. Locusts, bluebirds. Otherwise real quiet. A while ago I heard a dog barking in the distance, so I was trying to wait until the dog stopped barking. This is another veteran right here. James Carnes, private first class in the United States Army in Vietnam, April 18th, 1932 to January 27th, 1988. But this is the person that we came here to see, Clarence Joe Carnes. He was born January 14th, 1927 and died August 3rd, 1988. Clarence Victor Carnes, or Joe as he was better known, was a former Alcatraz inmate who was a full-blooded Choctaw. He was born in Daisy, Oklahoma, and was the oldest of 5 children. His life of crime began when he was just 8 years old, when he stole some candy bars at school. In 1943, at the age of 16, he was sentenced to life in prison for the murder of a garage attendant during an attempted holdup. In early 1945, he escaped from the Granite Reformatory in Oklahoma with a number of other prisoners. During that escape, he stole a car and kidnapped the driver, then crossed state lines. He was recaptured in April of 1945 and was given another 99 years to serve time in Leavenworth Prison. He made another attempt to escape that same year and was sent to Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, where he had 5 years added to his total sentence. At age 18, he was the youngest inmate ever sent to Alcatraz on July 6, 1945. While on the island, he soon became involved in planning an escape with fellow inmates Bernard Coy, Joseph Kretzer, Marvin Hubbard, Miriam Thompson, and Sam Shockley. On May 2, 1946, the 6 inmates set their plans into motion and quickly took over the cell block. The inmates locked up most of the prison guards in what became known as the Battle of Alcatraz. The U.S. Marines were called in to put an end to the 2-day fight. Carnes, Thompson, and Shockley retreated to their cells to be captured, while Coy, Kretzer, and Hubbard took their own lives. 2 prison guards, Harold Stites and William Miller, were also killed. Several others were injured. Thompson and Shockley were sentenced to death and executed in 1948, but Carnes was actually spared the death penalty. Some of the surviving guards testified that Carnes refused to kill the guards after he was ordered to do so by Kretzer. But Carnes did receive an additional 99 years and remained at Alcatraz, where he stayed until the prison closed in 1963. He was then sent to Leavenworth. In 1973, he was paroled at the age of 46, but he had difficulty adjusting to the life outside the walls and had a couple parole violations, which caused him to be sent back to prison. He was still doing time when he died at the Medical Center for Federal Prisoners in Springfield, Missouri on October 3, 1988. He was buried in a pauper's grave in Springfield, Missouri. In 1989, Massachusetts organized crime figure James Whitey Bulger, who had friended Carnes while on Alcatraz, paid for Carnes to be exhumed and then transported to Oklahoma for burial. Whitey once wrote, "I had him put in a copper bronze casket, cost $4 or $5 grand, driven in a hearse to Atoka, Oklahoma, and had an Indian burial ceremony in Choctaw language. An Indian preacher, 3 women to sing death songs, a big awning, chairs, etc. All Indians except me, girlfriend, and undertaker. Had Joe buried between his sister and brother with a bronze plaque. I visited it once on the run. I told Joe, we all called him Joe, by the phone when we got out I'd meet him and buy him a Cadillac of his choice. He died 3 weeks before his release, so I buried him with his family." So that's going to do it for our little tour on the Billy Cemetery in Daisy, Oklahoma. I know this is a different story. I had never heard of it before until a fellow friend YouTuber, Landom MC, told me about it. So big thanks to him, and thank you for watching. We'll see you guys next time.